Don't take it easy. Well, I know it's dark. Hopefully, I get this thing started right. Uh, it's been a very interesting week. We go ahead and get this show started. Let me go ahead and do this. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Guys, get ready. Sunday Fun Day is about to begin right after this word. Dun, 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 dun. Guess it's back. Back again. All right, let's get started. Good afternoon, content creators. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the show. Welcome to Sunday Fun Day. Welcome to AKA Prime Time. So everybody in the 5 o'clock Eastern Zone, good afternoon or good evening. If you want to say evening, I say evening. Central is good afternoon. On the West Coast, it is good afternoon. There we go to get some rain the next 48 hours. So welcome in, welcome in. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, everybody. And good afternoon, everybody. I say good afternoon to everybody. First things first, I gotta say a very special what's up to Bell Noah. Bell Noah Travels is getting ready to go on my favorite ship, the Carnival Jubilee. Yes. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hopefully we'll be doing some lives. Uh, hope you get the interview. Hey, by the way, if you go in there, you get to be kept the fire. Tell I said Z says what's up and you're having too much fun without me. Yeah. So we're gonna put this out there. I know you guys missed me for a couple of days. It's been crazy. We'll see what we're gonna get. So we're gonna put this out there. I've sent some invites. I sent some invites for coming in. Let me go ahead and do that. I gotta finish that up. There's a couple more people I need to finish up. Send the invites before we get started. And today's subject is random. No. Hold on. Excuse me. You start coughing when you start coughing when you start doing your show. Yes. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So we might have some people coming in, which is okay. All right. I think I'll set that link up there. Here's the link. If you want to come in, I said to some special people. Uh, we'll get started. Yes, we have. Oh, I got in here one. Maybe he'll come on the show today. Don't know. Don't know. But guys, don't forget to check out Baba Noah. He did a video a couple hours ago about cutting grass in the rain, and I have done that before. It's not fun. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But today's subject, got to talk about first-time cruisers. What's the do's and do not do when you go on a first-time cruise, or you're getting ready to go back on a cruise since shut down. There's a lot of different things you need to know. especially when you get ready to decide you want to go on the cruise. Now, here's the key thing with that. When you decide you want to go on the cruise, you got to pick the cruise company. You got a choice between Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Disney, no, NCO, uh, MSC, Celebrity, Princess, all those kind of cruises. You got to decide what you want to do, what kind of cruise company you want to do, and what places you want to go, and how many days you're going to be on actual the cruise ship. Key things for your vacation you need to know. Uh, that means you got to do some research. Tell a friend, ask a friend and say, hey, you've been on a cruise. What's your experience about the cruise? What do I need to do? What do I need to bring? What I don't need to do? And yes, we're going to talk about all those things. But first and foremost, key thing, this is the number one thing. If you have not done it, get your passport. Get you a passport. The main thing is to get your passport. Embarkation and debarkation will go faster if you have a passport. All you do is you gotta show the passport, shine it up. They see it, that you check in with your passport. That's the main thing. It's quick, it's easy, and it's fun. For those of you who are disabled, or those of you who are handicapped, and you are renting a scooter, or you have a wheelchair, you get priority boarding. Done it twice. I actually read that 3 times. Before you do that, you gotta check. What do you want to do? Do you want to book it through the cruise company, or you want to do a travel agent? Now I got to talk about the travel agent. There's some great travel agents, and there's some crooked travel agents. The crooked travel agent is the one they're going to charge you. The real good travel agent won't charge you. They get paid by the cruise company, so you got to be aware of that. And most of my friends are good travel agents, like Ocean, Ocean Travel, all the good things like that. And a lot of people say, hey, you know what? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes, yeah, I see people on Facebook. Yes, I know I'm in a competition with Abby and Tabby. Let's see here. Wow. That's funny. I'll just look at the Facebook stuff. Let's see here. Oh yeah, that's funny. Oh, by the way, okay. Oh, okay. You're at Walmart picking last minute stuff for the cruise. Yes. You're shopping and listening now. Speaking of last minute stuff, since you're out there at Walmart doing that, go ahead and get some sunscreen, bro. Yes. Now, thank you for putting that out there. Bad will know put this out there. Let me go ahead and put this. Yeah. I'll put it here on a highlight. Yes. Do your last minute shopping before you go on a cruise. Especially if you need like aspirin, uh, Tylenol, Tums, sunscreen. Get it at Walmart. Get it at the Dollar Tree. Get that before you get on the cruise ship, because if you don't have that, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. And when you get on a cruise ship, just got to put that there. By the way, if you are going on a cruise for the first time, or you have not been there in a long time, been a minute since you've been on there, if you get motion sickness, there's been rough seas for the past couple of weeks in the Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic. If you get motion sickness, go ahead and tell your doctor. Tell your doctor you're going to need it. If not, if it's the last minute, go ahead and go get some Dramamine from Walmart. I don't need it because I am a professional cruiser. I don't need that, please. Yeah, but that's been rough seas for a couple of people. I see. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about some serious things. When you're booking a cruise, if you're gonna get motion sickness, try to get the cabin in the midsection of the ship. Don't do the front and don't do the back because those are the ones that are gonna be going up and down, up and down. Get in the middle. You better be doing that if you're gonna get seasick. Just saying. A lot of people don't understand what I'm saying. That's what you need to do. Let me go ahead and type in the little words I need to do. Let's see here. Yes. Okay. Let's see. He takes. Oh yeah. Well, you definitely need yes. Yeah. If you need, now here's the thing. If you're gonna try driving it for the first time or you haven't taken it in a while, do it 12 hours before you get on board the ship. So it'll be in your system. Um, it'll be in your system. Well, let me go ahead. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do this. It's happy hour somewhere. Oh, I needed this. Drinking. Smeared off ice. Now, speaking of smeared off ice, and speaking of alcohol, now this is your first time going to cruise. If you're gonna prepare for drinking, eat something before you start drinking, especially on the cruise. Eat a big breakfast or lunch when you start drinking, especially when you go on a cruise ship. Uh, I tell your stomach. Some people that can't handle drinking alcohol, don't eat anything, they can't handle it. And yes, watch your intake. Watch your intake when you're on a cruise because there is a difference between drinking on land and drinking at sea. Let's see what else we got to talk about. By the way, don't forget if you have prescriptions, make sure you have extra prescriptions because you never know what happens. Because I'll be late. And yes, and don't pack your medicine in the checked baggage because you never know. You never know when you can get your baggage, luggage. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see here. We got two people here. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Always hit that like button. What else we got to talk about? Oh, we all talk about prescriptions. Talk about your doctor. Make sure you got your passport, all your documents. Make sure your IDs, driver's license are up to date because they don't take expired. You don't want to have to be doing the walk of shame. They won't let you on. Uh-oh. Guess who we got here? We got somebody knocking my door. Listen.
Hey Z.
It is Bruce, Ocean Trouble. How you doing?
Hey Z, how's it going?
It's going great, man. It's going great. How to do this because past couple of days, a lot of things have been going on, but I had to do something like that. I had to do something different. Um, we're talking today about first time cruisers or cruisers that have not been on since the close down. Just talking about the things you need to know, especially your prescriptions, morning sickness, uh, things you need to pack. What kind of suggestions do you have for people that are first time cruisers?
Well, first thing that you need to remember is to not get stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Stress, just you want to make sure, and you should be using a travel agent. My personal opinion, since I am one, but I think you should use a travel agent to because a travel agent can help you get organized. But you're going to want to make sure that you have all your documentation, that whether it's your passports, photo ID, all that good stuff. Keep it in a safe, secured place, but keep it where you remember where you have it. In a certain bag. Make sure that it is not in your checked luggage.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you keep it on your person, but safe. And I always tell everyone, especially if you're on a cruise, to make sure, even though you do everything with the cruise app for the most part, all that kind of stuff, make sure you have hard copies of everything.
Yes.
Like and Just in case, you always have that copy on you, even though you can do everything on your with the cruise website and the cruise app. Just make sure you have copies of everything you need when you're getting ready to go. One thing that a lot of first time cruisers do is they tend to overpack. Just kind of keep
Okay. Yeah.
you can do research with the area that you're going, so you know what type of weather to expect. But try not to take too much. But sometimes people, depending on how much you care, sometimes we even though we overpack because we'll have different clothes a lot of times when we're going to go eat dinner, depending on if we're going to a specialty restaurant, if we're going to do a formal night or stuff like that. But you're going to want to make sure that you know you don't want to take too much stuff. Though one thing you might want to do is your cabin comfortable for you. So we do things like we take hooks so we can hang things up. We take magnets. Most people don't know that especially your first time cruiser, your cabin walls are magnetized, and so you can take magnets to place things up on your wall to help yourself be organized. So definitely want to do stuff like that. Um, there's lots of tips that you could do. You'll definitely want to research where you are going,
Mhm.
having all your excursions, figuring out what you want to do at the ports that you're going to.
Right. Yeah.
Whether trying to figure out, do you like to do hiking? And there could be hiking excursions. Do you like beach excursions? There could be snorkeling excursions. There could be um, uh, excursions where you're doing a tour of the town or the city that you're going to. You could do a city tour. There's tequila tasting, rum tasting, all sorts of different types of excursions that you could be doing. So just make the most of your experience.
Right. Right.
But at the same time, don't worry about doing everything.
Yes.
Pick and choose. You don't have to be involved in everything. So pick and choose stuff when you're on the cruise ship that you like to do, whether it's, because they have trivia on the cruise ships. Maybe you like to do some trivia, play some bingo, go and listen to some music, go dancing, do karaoke. I mean, there's so many activities that you could do on a cruise ship. Don't worry about trying to participate in all of them because frankly, there's going to be more than one activity happening at the same time. And so you just got to kind of pick and choose, but don't stress if you can't do something. Book another cruise and do it the next time.
Yeah, do our back-to-back cruise. Let me get into this real quickly, especially if you go into a different port. Now, this is a real thing. You need to check with the country you're going to because they might have a dress code or things that you cannot wear. I know in Mexico you can't wear camouflage. A lot of people try to wear that. You cannot wear that because they forbid any kind of tourist wearing camouflage because they think that you're in the different kind of military resistance or anything. So you got to make sure you go into like Honduras or Cosmo, make sure you know their dress code when you get off the ship. It's very, very important. You need because other things of that. Also, you need to book the excursion through the cruise company. May for safety and before if you might get left. Now the safety thing is very, very important. Now a lot of people don't understand when you go to a different kind of country, if you're going to rent scooters, you're going to rent a car, they got different standards. Those scooters and those cars might not be up to date. You don't know. You got to be careful with that. A couple of weeks ago, a couple ran the scooters and they were in Cozumel. And it wasn't their fault that somebody hit them and both of them passed away. So you just got to be careful what you're doing. I don't know the whole story. I don't know if they just did it. I don't know if they did it through the excursion. But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Now there is a story going out at the State Department that they raised the alerts from the Bahamas and Jamaica. Do you know anything about that?
Well, so Jamaica and the Bahamas, I mean, they've been really high alert for years. It's nothing really new. They just kind of they renew it, if you will, and it's mainly because of crime, and it is um, no, for areas off of the beaten path. And
Hmm.
when you look at those alerts, that's I mean, when you're on a cruise, you're only going to be in a port for a few hours,
Hmm.
and you always want to be cautious. But when you hear about those alerts, those are more for people that are going and staying at at the country, at a
Hmm.
resort, and they're seeing the nightlife, and they're going off and they're doing their own thing. To be
Right.
careful
Hmm.
um, because you know you could be mugged, you could be
Hmm.
robbed, all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. So you just want to be careful.
Yes.
But if you are doing an on a cruise and you're doing an excursion, I recommend that you're doing the excursion with the cruise line.
Hmm.
You can do it on your own, absolutely. And there's you know and some people love to do it on their own. They don't want to do it through the cruise line. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can save money on excursions by doing it on your own instead of through the cruise line. Sometimes the excursions are more expensive through the cruise line. However, the cruise lines vet the companies that they do the excursions through. The other thing is that cruise lines, if someone has booked an excursion through the cruise line guarantees that they will wait
Hmm.
for you to get back to the ship, or they'll make sure that you are able to meet the ship at the next port.
Yeah.
It's all on the cruise line, and they'll take care of it.
Hmm.
Where if you book on your own, and if something were to happen and you were late, the cruise line will leave you.
Yes,
They
they
will
do.
not wait for you. They don't
Hmm.
guarantee they will wait for you if you're not booked through the cruise line. So that's one thing that you really want to look at when you're thinking about doing excursions, because the cruise line will wait if you do through them. And a prime
Yeah.
example is Cindy and I were on an excursion, and the vehicle, the van that picked us up at the cruise port, took us to excursion, and was bringing us back, got a flat tire on the way back to the ship. We were 2 hours late getting to the ship. The
Hmm.
ship waited for us because we had bought that excursion through the cruise line. If we had not bought that excursion through the cruise line and something like that happens, and those are things that are completely out of your control,
Right.
we would have missed our ship, and it would have been on us, our responsibility to either get to the next port to get back on the ship or to fly home.
Yeah.
That would have been on our dime and our responsibility.
Yes.
So, so that's my recommendation when it comes to excursions is to get them through the cruise port. And Billy with Bamanola makes a good point. Make sure that you are on time getting back to the cruise port. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you are. I always recommend being early, and you got to remember there's a difference between local time and ship time, and a lot of times the ship time is whatever time is the time at whatever port you left that you
Mm-hmm.
got on the ship at. So whether it's Galveston or it's Miami or Port Canaveral or Seattle, uh, wherever you left, where you got on the ship, the embarkation port, that is the time that's going to be on the ship all the
Mm-hmm.
way through the cruise. So when
Right.
you get off to other ports and the time may have changed,
Mm-hmm.
remember that the ship goes by ship time. So you need to always verify what time the ship time is. Make
Yeah.
sure that you're keeping track with your watch or your phone or whatever. Maybe don't have a digital watch that could automatically update, but maybe have a watch that does not update on its own.
Yeah.
Um, to keep track. But either way, just keep track of what time ship time is versus what your watch or phone says, so that you know when to get back to the ship. And don't wait till the last minute. And don't, especially
Yeah.
if you're getting close to that time that you're supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
back on the ship, don't
Mm-hmm.
stop to do some last minute shopping at the port or whatever. Just
Mm-hmm.
get on the ship. You
Yeah.
know, keep track of the time, and you don't want to be a peer runner. You don't want to be one of those that's going to end up on YouTube because
Be
you're late
famous.
back to the ship or whatever. Just make sure you give yourself enough time. If you want to do some shopping, which is great, just make sure you're giving yourself that time in the port to do that versus whatever excursion you're doing. So
Yeah, but the thing here's the thing that I want to say: travel insurance. There is different kinds of travel insurance anybody needs to go on a cruise, and that's one of the reasons why I say get travel insurance. For that reason, if you get left, you have travel insurance to get to a local airport, to get to the next port, or basically, if you get left at the cruise port, you're I say your vacation's over. 'Cause if you get left at Cozumel and that was your last port, your trip is over. You got to go back to the States. That's why you need travel insurance. It's very, very expensive to go get to a flight. I know there's flights leave out of Cozumel, but it's going to cost you some money. So you got to have insurance. A lot of people don't want to pay it. Want to pay it. Um,
you do, yeah. But with travel insurance, make sure you're reading the fine print,
yes.
because depending on the reason that you're having to use your travel insurance to refund, make sure you're reading that fine print, because they
Mhm.
do have some things written in. Some of them have some things written in that if it's due to your fault and things that you did,
Mhm.
they may not cover it. So
Yeah.
make sure that you are reading that fine print also to make sure that it's going to be covered.
And once again, if you get left by the cruise, make sure you have a emergency credit card. A I don't recommend a debit card. I recommend like a American Express, a Visa, MasterCard. I don't recommend a debit card or maybe a credit card just in case that happens. Because, for example, somebody got sick on a cruise and they got dropped off at Cozumel and they missed the ship. You also got to have health insurance. Now, this is the real thing about health insurance. You get sick on the cruise, you're at the port, the ship leaves you. You got to make sure that hospital takes your credit card, or you got to have cash. It's going to cost you a lot if you don't have insurance. I'm just saying. For example, one lady got sick, missed the cruise. I think she had COVID. I think, and they didn't have insurance and they didn't have their they didn't have a passport. And yeah, it costs a lot to get a passport. You got to get a hotel room. And if you cannot travel on a regular flight, You got to get a special flight that costs money. I think it costs her to get off the island, get back to the States, right around $50,000. Yeah, that will happen if you don't have insurance. It's very, very serious. And like you said, my suggestion: if you're going on a cruise, get there as at least 2 days before your actual cruise. Like you said, anything can happen. You get a flight get delayed, or if I get canceled on the last day of the cruise, the sailing day. Yes, it is very, very important to do that. And by
You
the way,
definitely want to at least get there a day before. You
yes.
want to. So when we were going on a cruise, it was last year, and our flight going out of Seattle, going down to Texas, we were flying out. We were cruising out of Galveston, and we had a connecting flight in Salt
Mm,
Lake City. Well, we were late. Our flight was delayed by 3 hours to get out of Seattle due to fog.
mhm.
Well, when we landed in Salt Lake City, we missed our connecting flight, and we actually had to stay in Salt Lake City that night to get and then fly out the next morning because it was at Thanksgiving time and the
Oh
airport
yeah.
actually shut down and no
Mhm.
um and so we weren't able to fly out that night. And so if we were flying the same day, we would have missed our cruise. But
Yeah. Mhm.
thankfully, because we were flying the day before, we were able to get in. We got plenty of time. There was no stress. And my kudos to Delta. We were flying with Delta, and my kudos to them because they gave us. I mean, it wasn't their fault, and
Mhm.
they because it was due to weather. And if you read the little fine print, it does say that the airlines are not responsible if there's delays due to weather, but they gave us their employee discount for the hotel. So we got a really inexpensive hotel in Salt Lake City. And they gave us food vouchers for that night and for breakfast the next morning. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Delta really took care of us.
Yeah.
They they have my utmost respect, and
Mhm.
I really appreciate them. And so we have flown Delta since because of that, because we had a really good experience. Um, but yeah, you just want to make sure you're giving yourself enough time
Mhm.
if you're flying. Now, if you're driving, I would still make sure because there could
Yeah.
be road conditions that
Mhm.
are held up at. But especially if
Yeah.
you're flying, make sure you are at least going in the day early, if not 2 days, but at least a day early,
Yeah.
because you just never know
Yeah.
what may.
Yeah. You never know. You never know because anything can happen. Like he said, anything can happen. Weather delays or anything like that. The thing is, when you get back, when you're on the way, your cruise is over, you get off the ship. This is a key thing. If you are flying back, don't try to get the earliest flight possible because that ship might be late. For example, if a Carnival cruise gets back to Galveston, they get back like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you got a 10:30 flight. You,
Yeah, when it comes to flights, when you're getting back to the cruise port,
Mhm.
don't book a flight before noon or
Yeah,
1 o'clock. Is
yeah.
what I always tell my clients. Always book a later flight because you
Mhm.
never know. Because one time getting back into Galveston again because of fog, we
Mhm.
were 2.5 hours late docking, and
Yeah.
there was people that was on that cruise ship that had 11 a.m. flights that
Mhm.
missed their flights, and
Mhm.
so you definitely want to to schedule a later flight. At least I suggest after 1 p.m.
Mhm.
just in case. Again, you know
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't happen, and then you end up spending a couple hours at the airport, 2 3 hours before you can board. That's a whole lot better than being late and missing
Brilliant
your
ways to do. You got to
so.
reschedule a flight and everything like that. And you got to remember in Houston and Galveston, Houston traffic is, oh, didn't want to talk about Houston traffic. Uh, Especially on a Saturday morning, it is crazy. It's crazy going out Saturday morning. I thought it'd be easy, but no, it is not. If you go into Hobby in it or Bush, it's like 45 minutes to an hour before you get there. That's a regular time. Now, if there's an accident or traffic, it could be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. So you never can tell. That's why, yeah, like you said, talk to your travel agents. If you book your cruise and you book your airlines, tell your travel agent, I'm going on a cruise. If I be late, my and absolutely check with your airline, see what kind of policy they have. Get insurance for that because you never know. I think was it it was the year before last. It was during the Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas holiday when the travel was crazy. They were canceling flights. There were some people that got left on the cruise because they couldn't make it in. Lucky, I knew some people that were going on the cruise. They found out their flights could be canceled. They drove in, and just in time, they made it early in the morning. But yeah, you got to keep an eye on your weather. A lot of people don't want to check your weather. Check your weather. You got to check your weather because, like you said, one of the things that happened to me when I was on the visit getting back, we were late a couple of hours, and lucky I think it was Savannah and Kindle Fire were on the Vista. And basically, they said like in the morning that we're gonna be late. You need to contact anybody. You need to contact Southwest. So I called Southwest, say, hey, our cruise ship is gonna be late. Can I get a later flight? And there was no problem from Southwest. They didn't charge me anything. Yeah, you never know the weather situation. Bruce, what is the next? What is the best time to cruise? Is it like from now to the beginning of March? I think February is a good time to go on a cruise. What do you think?
So yeah, so the January, February timeframe, even into March is good. Although, depending, spring breaks,
Mm-hmm.
some of
Yeah.
them are in March, and so those can be crazier times because of spring break and people are, so March isn't necessarily a good time to cruise, but definitely February, March. Then in the November is a good time to cruise, and early December
Mm-hmm.
and September timeframe isn't bad. Also, the worst time to cruise, uh, just because it's so busy and because the cruises are more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely over the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, um, New Year's. Those are more expensive cruises. And then during the summertime, which is considered peak time, those
Mm-hmm.
cruises are typically more expensive than those other ones.
Very
Going in January, February time frame, and then right after Thanksgiving, going into early part of December, are typically
mm-hmm.
lower price of cruises. But it's also dependent on where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing
Absolutely.
an Alaska cruise, uh, September and April, which is the beginning and end of the Alaska season, are the least expensive. Weather-wise, June, July, first part of August are normally the best weather months to go to Alaska. But the weather's nice, but the cruises are more expensive during that time than at the beginning or the end of the season. And then the Caribbean, anytime's a good time. You may
Mm-hmm.
not want to go during hurricane season. The waters can get rough. Although the captains do a pretty good job of trying to avoid, but sometimes they can't.
Sometimes, yeah.
Seen here just in the last few weeks some of the ships that have been in pretty rough weather. So
Mm-hmm.
hurricanes, so hurricane season also is not a good time to cruise. So
Yes, especially now for those of you who are getting have motion sickness and you worry about that. My suggestion is to get a cabin in the midsection of the ship. It's a little bit smoother, especially on those large ships. When I was on the Jubilee, I slept like a baby.
yeah.
A lot of people
So
are. Mhm.
Yeah, if you have a tendency to get seasick or motion sickness,
Hmm.
then getting a cabin in the midship and lower towards the water is the best
Hmm.
thing to get. Higher up and in the front or the rear of the ship, you're going to feel more
Yeah.
movement of the ship. So definitely that, and some things you can do to prevent seasickness. We always do Dramamine,
Hmm.
and what we do, and they even have less drowsy Dramamine these days. A lot of people don't like to take Dramamine because they say, "Oh, it makes me tired. I feel sleepy." They do have less drowsy Dramamine or non-drowsy Dramamine now, but we always take ours at night. We always take it just as we're going to bed. So if it makes us sleepy, that's okay because we're going to bed. And we always take it every night just before we're going to bed. They're good for 24 hours, and we've never had an issue with seasickness. We always start the night before the cruise, and then it's just a routine. Every night before we go to bed, we take that Dramamine. But there's other things you can do if you don't want to take a pill. You can get seasickness bands. They go on
Hmm.
your wrist. There's also the patches. I know some people like using the patches that go behind your ear and that.
Yeah.
Those seem to work really well for a lot of people. If you
Hmm.
don't like any of those, if you do start feeling sick, eat green apples. Green apples is a great remedy for seasickness, and also ginger, like ginger ale. That
Hmm.
really helps with people with seasickness also, if you start having those symptoms of being seasick.
Yes. And now a lot of people want to know if you're doing Dramamine or those medicines for motion sickness. Does that affect if you're drinking alcohol? That's a good question.
We we've never had an issue with it. So you know, I don't think it does, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I know, and when it comes to stuff like that, if stuff affects you,
Hmm.
it's everyone's DNA, and your
Yeah.
body could
It's
react to it differently. So that I really, I
yeah.
wouldn't really know. We've taken Dramamine, and we haven't had
Hmm.
an issue. So that's all I
Right.
can go on with that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I heard on the news past couple of weeks. Cruise lines from the Gulf of Mexico, people were getting seasick on the way from Galveston. And you heard about, I know you heard about the canoe incident with the Jubilee, right?
So I had heard something about the Juba. Oh, I saw a news feed come across me, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah, it got so well known that the three networks are showing it. Apparently, a boat sank uh, a couple of miles from Cancun, and
Oh,
two people got in the they had a kayak on the boat, and I saw that. I said, "Well, yeah, because they could not saw with a kayak. That's just insane to do that." But yes, so I found out they both sank, got in trouble, got sank, and they had a canoe on the ship, on their ship, and yeah, the latest report is the Jubilee was probably about 10 miles away from Cancun, uh, and they saw the captain saw it, the crew saw it, and they rescued him. They called the next Mexican Navy, and they picked him up and took him back to Mexico. But yeah, um, a lot of people. You know what? I heard stories. A lot of people say a crew didn't want people to film that, but that's major news. I mean, people they said they didn't want people to film it. Hey, that's a news story. I mean, especially when that anything happens. But yeah, gotta be
yeah.
safe. Gotta be safe. Um, speaking of safe, uh, my next cruise probably the MSC Seascape for November 2025. Now, this will be my first time in MSC cruise. So what is the difference between MSC versus Carnival? What is the difference? You
Well,
know.
um, each cruise line has its own thing. I have never cruised on MSC. Um, However, MSC, they actually include things in their cruise that Carnival doesn't. Um, they their ships, I've noticed as I've watched videos, their ships are very elegant. I really like the way that MSC builds their ships. They seem really nice. Their cruises are less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you
Yes.
can really get a 7 day cruise on an MSC ship. They beat them all.
Yeah.
MSC is really good, and they beat Carnival, they beat Royal, they beat Norwegian when it comes to the price of the ships, and they do a good job. Some people say some bad things about MSC's food, but
Mm-hmm.
then I've talked to other people that have never had a bad experience when it comes to food. That's the same thing for us with Carnival. Uh, People have had bad experiences with Carnival's food. We haven't. We've enjoyed the food that we've had on the different cruise ships. And it depends on people's taste, what
Mm-hmm.
they like or don't like. Um, and it doesn't mean that anyone's experience is less or more than anybody else's. We've never had a bad experience. We're excited. We are branching out. We're going on our first Norwegian ship here in a few weeks. We're going on the Norwegian Breakaway in May. We can't
Mm-hmm.
wait for it. That's going to be a great time. We're going back on Carnival in July. We're going on the Carnival Jubilee.
Oh
We're
man, see
excited
you.
for that one. We've had to postpone our Jubilee cruise 3 times now.
Wow.
So hopefully this
Yeah.
time it's a good to go, and we're good to go with that one.
Oh,
Um,
you know
so
what, Bruce? You're gonna love the Jubilee, especially the Heroes Lounge. When I was on the first sailing, and I went to the lounge, and I got to meet men that
yep.
served the country of Vietnam. And I went into the lounge. I felt something in my body. I said, "Wow."
Yeah,
It's
Carnival does a great job, and
hmm
Carnival, all the cruise lines have their good points and bad points. When it comes to the military and
hmm
the appreciation that military people have, he does it better
Yeah,
than
Carnival
Carnival
does.
does.
Carnival
Um,
does. I
and with Heroes Bar, they first started doing the Heroes Bar on the Carnival Panorama. I've been in that bar, you know, to have a lot of good conversations with a lot of good people. I met someone there that happened to be in Desert Storm, Saudi Arabia, the same time I was, and they
mhm,
were also in the army. We never met each other while we were there. I mean, there was hundreds of thousands of soldiers there,
mhm.
yeah. So the Heroes Bar is a fantastic thing that they do, but the Heroes Bar just isn't for military either. They also represent for first responders, and they
Yes.
give recognition for those too. So it really is a great thing that Carnival does with that.
Yeah, if you go on like an extra class, I recommend you go to it's in the Pig and Anchor restaurant. So it's a combination of both of them, which is a good deal. And I absolutely loved it. When I was on the cruise, me and Derek were talking about that. I got to meet people from Vietnam. I met one guy in World War II, and he was like in his 90s. He was on a scooter, and I just started crying. I said, "Man, the sacrifice those men did for our country." And I just feel overwhelmed. I feel overwhelmed because you know me. I support our men and women. My dad was Vietnam vet, went to tours. So he would stop crying if he was on that ship. I mean, it's great. And Carnival, I got to give it up to them. I got to give it up to what they did. It's about time they did it. It's massive on an XL class ship. Bruce, you're gonna enjoy it. I guarantee you're gonna be there most of the time just to look at it, just to be in there. You're gonna say,
Yeah,
"Man, I'm
there's so
home."
many things that I want to see on the Jubilee. And one thing that the way that we cruise and the way that we look at things is I don't find one spot on a ship and then that's where I'm going to say I really want
Mhm.
to experience the whole the whole ship. And so I am interested. I will definitely spend time at the Heroes Bar, but I'm really interested to go to Mr. Ink's
Oh, Dr. Inks. Yes.
area.
It's
Um,
Dr.
some
Inks
of the drinks that they
bar.
make in that bar, I'm very, very interested in. So it should be,
Yes.
I can't wait to try that one. Um, I've never, I'm interested to do Shaq's Chicken and,
Yeah.
a lot of the different Chibang and some of the different food options
Hmm.
and seeing, the different entertainment and just different things that they do. Grand Central. I don't know if they call it Grand Central on the Jubilee or not,
I
like they did on the
can't remember.
Mardi Gras. But there's a lot of things that I want to try on that ship, and we cannot wait till
You
July.
can't wait. You can't wait to meet Miss Kendall Fire. Man, she is a firecracker. I've been watching it ever since they start. She's still got that high energy. I said, man, I wish I had that high energy where I'm an old man. But yeah, but
Yeah,
Kendall Fire is one. I say all in all, she is one of the greatest crews right there. She is made for that ship. There would not have been a, a Texas ship without her because she's from Texas. She lives, her house is like 45 minutes away from where I live at. We talk about that for a minute, but she is also full energy. Um, um, Guys Burgers, Bruce, you would say, how many did you have, Z? I lost count at seven. I
yeah.
love that.
I love Guy's Burgers. I really do. I haven't tried the ones on Royal or Norwegian or anything. And again, everyone has their taste of it. Uh, and people, whether you can rate them however you want. I do love Guy's Burgers. However,
Mhm.
I stick to probably one on a cruise, maybe two at max, because they are, there's a lot of stuff there, and
Yeah.
I'm really trying to be health conscious. So, but I'll normally get one, but
Uh-huh.
not much more than that.
Yeah, I was just gonna help it. I said, man, look, that smells good. It is. And it's like Guys Burgers what he used to do back in the day. Because different ships have different kinds of things. I guess when they first started out, they got the key people from each extra class ship to work, and then I mean, it was. I say I can do that all day. Now, a lot of people don't understand onboard credit. Can you? I use onboard credit, and basically, wow, that onboard credit saved me for not getting the drink package.
Yeah,
Because
onboard credits. I mean, because you can use onboard credits for
yeah,
anything. They
I
they are a great thing that to be able
mhm,
to use on the ship, whether it's for alcoholic drinks or for shopping or for the
mhm.
casino or whatever.
Oh,
They are a great thing.
well, especially when you're in a casino and you're not playing with your money, playing with their money. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah,
Trust me, and it's a lot. And I won some money. So, oh, by the way, if you go to Honduras, the casinos are open. They open up at 1 p.m. A lot of people did not know that, and that's the best side to because there's a lot of people that leave to go to Honduras. It's basically like 50 people in a casino when they're doing that. And you get a notice on the app that said the casino's open. And I looked at it, I said, are you kidding me? Go ahead and do that. And yeah, I know you're not a gambling man, but you need to try it. You need to try it.
yeah. So Cindy and I, we will. In fact, we were just talking about it for our next cruise, but we definitely are not big spenders. If we do the casino, we are like a 20-30 dollar type.
Hmm.
We'll do that. For our next one, we may budget a little bit more. just to try it, but yeah, we don't. That's not, and
Mhm.
it's not wrong for people that do. Don't get me wrong. And I have friends
Mhm.
that go on the cruise ship and they are going on and they are going to gamble, and that's fantastic. And we love watching them. And we've
Yeah.
participated in the slot pool and all sorts of stuff
Mhm.
like that. And we've done slots, and we're trying to study up on roulette and how to play
Yeah.
all these different games and stuff like that. But that's just
Mhm.
not something that we have really partaken in. Um,
Yeah.
but we're uh, everyone does it for different reasons, and
Mhm.
does cruising different, and that's the beauty of cruising is everyone can do what they want to do. They can, you can go on a group cruise, which is awesome,
Yeah.
and to spend time with people, but you don't have to. Even when you're going as a part of a group cruise, everyone is different, and some people don't. They go as part of a group cruise, but they're not gonna. Like when we did for instance, we did the booze cruise last October over Halloween. It wasn't officially set up as a group cruise, but we ran it like a group cruise, and we did a lot of things that group
Mhm.
cruises do.
Yes.
And there was a lot of people there, but some people participated in some of the activities, some people
Mhm.
didn't participate in some of the activities. You saw some people more than you saw others,
Mhm.
and that's the beauty of cruising is everyone does things a little bit different.
Yeah.
You can spend time with people or not spend time with people. Maybe you
Mhm.
want to not, maybe you're an introvert. You
Mhm.
don't want to spend as much time with people. Doesn't make it wrong.
Mhm.
Everyone does it a little bit differently, and that's the beauty about cruising is everyone can do it
Absolutely.
a little bit differently. Doesn't make it wrong for anybody. So.
And you get to meet 5,000 new friends. I have seen that when I got back. I see how many people subscribe to. And here's a funny thing, especially for a content creator that's going on a cruise, you get recognized when you're on the cruise. You say, "Hey, that's Lee. Oh, hey, that's Bruce. Hey, what's going on?" I know you had that. I said, man, I feel like a superstar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we had that. Cindy and I had that from the moment on our last cruise, which was the Glory. We had that from the moment that we got into the embarkation day after we got through security in the lounge,
Mhm.
waiting to get on the ship.
Yeah.
And, people recognize us, people were waving to us, everything else. And then on the ship also. And we love talking to everybody. And so, yeah, it's a fun time.
It's a couple of things before I let you, if you want to go. If you're going on a cruise, if you are disabled or you're handicapped, you can rent a scooter. I didn't do it this time. I should have, but I didn't. You rent a scooter. You got to tell your travel agent or the cruise line, hey, I got a scooter or I got a wheelchair. They'll put you in a good room, decent room. They'll fit the scooter. They'll ask you what kind of your measurements of your wheelchair and scooter, and it's not that expensive. I was very
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about that. So, if you do have mobility issues, there's a few things you can do. Number one, the cruise lines have mobility cabins.
mm-hmm,
Um, uh, and so they're called accessible cabins.
mm-hmm,
If you have a wheelchair, if you have a scooter, the doors are wider.
uh,
They don't have a step into the shower and everything, so they're easier they have a pull down seat in the shower. They're easier to move around on when you're in your cabin. They're bigger. The hallway's wider. Just everything's better for them. So you can request one of those. Now they don't have very many of them on the ship, so you
mm-hmm.
want to make sure you
You do
are
it in
booking your
advance.
cruise
Yeah,
early enough and far enough out so that you can get one of those cabins if you need them.
right. And
Now,
my situation, real
you
quick, my
also
situation
did,
on the Jubilee, when I travel on a Greyhound bus, I'll never do that again. No driver. I jacked up my back, and I knew when I got on the ship, I don't want to be in bed for 7 days. You could rent a wheelchair on a cruise. Just a guy said, "Do you want to rent a wheelchair?" And I said, "Yeah, because I really don't want to be in bed for 7 days for my back." And
Yeah.
it was like $124. And I
So
said,
yeah, there's a company. It's called Scoot Around,
yeah,
and they have in every single cruise port they are
uh-huh,
set up that you can arrange them ahead of time. You can
yeah,
also do it when you get to the cruise port, but I recommend you do it ahead of time
uh-huh,
so that they don't run out.
yeah,
You can rent either a scooter for the
hmm,
week or
hmm,
a wheelchair for the week.
hmm,
The cruise lines themselves, if you don't want to rent something like that, maybe you have a walker, but you want assistance to get on the ship and to get off
yes,
the ship,
I
the
did
cruise
that.
lines do have a wheelchair assistance where you can
Hmm,
arrange ahead of time. And
yeah,
there's a form that you got to fill out for the cruise lines, even if you're bringing your own scooter with you. But
hmm,
if you have any mobility issues, and if you need assistance or you're bringing your
hmm,
own scooter, wheelchair, whatever, there's a
hmm,
form that you got to fill out for the cruise lines to give them that heads up.
yeah,
But if you have a walker and if you aren't bringing your own wheelchair, if you're not bringing your own scooter, but you want assistance, you can request that ahead of time.
yeah,
And then the day of the cruise, they will meet you
hmm,
down at the port and they'll wheel you right in, right through security,
yep,
and get you right on the ship. You'll actually get on the ship a lot of times sooner than a lot of other people.
yeah. I
So
done
it's
that.
a great program to have.
I did that on the Jubilee because I knew. I said, "Hey, I knew I did the wheelchair assistant when I checked in because I know I was going to need it." That's one of the things a lot of people don't know. When you're in a wheelchair or or you're in a walker, you need wheelchair assistance. And like you say, you go through past security. You probably get on before the priority party get on. Uh, that's what a lot of people are. There's a lot of priority boarding on the Jubilee, and there are some people who are frustrated. There's like thousands of people are like Goldman, not Goldman, Diamond and Platinum, and uh, they did not expect that. So it's chaos for that.
Yeah, there was a lot of From I remember a lot of people talking about that there was a lot of diamonds and platinums, especially
Hmm.
on the inaugural.
Yeah, it was
And
like that. It was like that. They were in a special room, and the platinum, and there's a lot more people outside the platinum room because they didn't have any room. So
yeah,
I look at that and I say, "Wow, thanks. Lucky I did wheelchair assistant." But yeah. And oh, by the way, in the Jubilee, this will be your first time going there. They got two ways you get on the cruise ship, which is amazing. It's amazing. It's not like the Vista or the Breeze. You got instead of one, it's two of them. So two ways you get on it, and two ways you get out of the cruise ship. Yeah, man,
nice.
I loved it. I was so mad I had to get off the cruise ship. I called my travel advisor, my financial advisor, and said, "Hey, man, uh, how much would you how much would you give me if I did a back-to-back cruise?" He hung up. I said, I'm kidding, but it was a great time. You're gonna have some fun. Um, internet issues. My internet issue was mine because I had this stupid phone. But there are some people that have some good internet issues. Yes, go ahead and get the internet package. You can do it two ways. You can buy it up front, or you can do it by day. I did it by day. I did the Facebook one, the regular package, and it's like $15 for 24 hours. I did Facebook Live. As far as I did try some of my on YouTube, try to do it live. I had problems with that. And by the way, when you go to one more thing before Cozumel, what you got plans for Cozumel?
Cosmo, we're doing Paradise Beach. We're going to Paradise Beach. We've got the Clocks, Mike and Ricky Clock. We're going with Have Luggage with Travels group cruise, and Mike and Ricky Clock are going to be on there from Clock Family's Adventures, along with a lot of other people. But yeah, we're going to Paradise Beach in Cozumel, and we've got a day bed and all that kind of stuff. So we're really excited about that. Love Paradise Beach. After the booze cruise, Paradise Beach is by far our and we've done 5 different resorts. I think it is at Paradise Beach and at Cozumel, and by far Paradise Beach is our favorite.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I love the Three Amigos. Oh man. uh, and by the way, if you are a drinker and you get off of that ship, don't forget to hydrate yourself the night before you go off of that ship. Don't forget to eat some food, breakfast, big old breakfast. Get some meat in there, because when you get to Mexico, they free pour. If you tip those people, they'll add a little bit more alcohol. Yeah, uh, especially especially at Three Amigos. I had a shot lady. She said, "You want a shot?" Now I said, "Yeah." How much is it? She said, $8. I said, "Okay." So I'm preparing myself for doing one shot. I did not know she's gonna put my head like that and give me like 5 or 6 shots. I did not. I said, "Wait, hey!" I said, "Ooh,
Awesome.
crazy!" Lucky I ate. And yes, and by the way, Cosmo Mexico is world famous. I got these available. I need to get some more, but these are rum cakes. Guys, go ahead and get that. I guarantee you, you're going to eat some before you get home. So you
Yeah.
might have to buy 2 6-packs like I did. I spent $70 for 2 packs. Yeah. Uh, Anything else we forget before we get on out of here?
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I got to take off. But
Yeah.
I have to come on to talk with you a bit.
Well, thank you. Hey, guys, don't forget oceanoceantravel.com, right?
Yep.
Don't forget oceanoceantravel.com. Check out with Bruce. He is very, very patient with me. That if he can handle me, he can handle you.
All right,
Appreciate it, Bruce. And
everyone have a great night.
all right, I'll
Talk
see y'all
to you
later.
soon.
See you later.
All right, bye.
He's getting ready to get out of here. And before I get out of here, don't forget tomorrow morning. Wake up with Z-Man, Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, 10:30. 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, Monday to Friday. Don't forget about that. And prime time, all day, all next week will be prime time. We're going back on the regular schedule. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. Guys, let's go ahead and do the drive-by to Sea Lake Journeys. I'm missing that. Go by to CJ. Hey, when you go to Sea Lake Journeys, say you're doing the drive-by of the Z Show Cruise Fund. Appreciate it. Guys, thank you guys for coming in. It's been a wonderful day. Hope you stay out of trouble. Don't forget, do not drink and drive. Do not hang around knuckleheads and do. And always, 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 always drink responsible. And I'll see you, Rock the Boat. Peace out. Deuces. And wait a minute. I forgot to set it up. Yeah, I do that. Sometimes I do that. Give me a second. All right. Try it again. Peace out. Deuces. And we's out.